And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode 8. Belt Kings Radio presents Champions. And if episode 1 through 7 didn't get you, I know 8 is definitely going to be enough.
Yeah.
Because today we got the WWF Tag Team Championships of the world. And as always, my name is Mike Knoxxx. You already know I'm loud. I get loud. That's just who I am. And always joining me, my kicks are my fix. What's going on, Corey?
What's going on, man? I'm ready for this show, man. This will be a good one. This will definitely be a good one.
It has to be a good one because, frankly, I told you the tag team wrestling, it's my greatest form of professional wrestling. And this is my greatest tag team belt of all time. It just really is. Like, and again, guys, we know, and thank you for joining us. You can find us at all the social media networks, just hashtag Belt Kings, at Belt Kings, just like it's spelled BELT Kings. We're multiples. We're multiples, as they say, like gremlins. Throw some little water on us, and we're going to multiply because there's millions of Belt Kings and Belt Kings out there, Corey. And all the podcast networks, you already know about it, Corey. Let's get into the specifics of this beautiful bling footage known as the Wing Eagle Tag Team Championship?
No, it's just, I think they just call it the Classic.
Okay, the Classic.
It's the Classic WWF Tag Team Championship, pretty much with all differences and variations, but pretty much remained the same from 1985 through 2002. I believe the original design is a Reggie Parks belt.
Mm-hmm.
I believe the first ones held by the Dream Team, like we were talking offline, and more famously, I guess, with the Bulldogs were silver, smaller side plates on the side, and then they changed the side plates to more of a rectangular type ones after the Bulldogs. And actually, I'm trying to. Well,
oh God, he got it with him.
Since we're gonna do it. We're going to do it right on Belt Kings.
Hold on. I got to stop because I love bringing reality to television, okay? And I got to say this. How we came up this morning, just this morning, maybe yesterday, and said, hey, what about this title? Yeah. And you bring it into the office today? Oh, Corey, you look magnificent. That title, rather, looks even more magnificent. Oh, look at that, guys. Look at that. There's not the Wing Eagle. Okay, you're right. It's not. It has that eagle on it. I'm sorry, I'm an Eagles fan, so all eagles look great to me. Okay, it has the world, which represents the world. You see the guys wrestling on each. Oh, those guys. No, those. Okay, that's not guys wrestling. Okay,
it is on the side plates.
On the side plates, yes. But I meant yes. On the side plates, there's guys locked up. Ready for some Roman wrestling stuff. You got the championship crowns on this belt. Corey, I'm sorry. As I'm staring at this belt, as I stared at the belt, and you got the old one too with the block F on it. Oh, that is a classic title. Where did you get that belt from, Corey?
I had this one made a little while ago.
Custom.
This one is one of the, and this one actually, I specifically, because of the champions that I remember as a kid, I went with the dual plated because that's, for a brief time, it was dual plated plates on it. So the silver background with the gold etching on it as well.
Drop that link. We need the link. Those who are listening, you can't get the link without hitting the podcast. But those who are watching, hit the link. We need the link for that one. I need that in my life. Oh, wife's gonna get mad at me.
So, sorry, we put it over. So this one is probably the one for me as a kid that I most closely related to was the dual plated one. This was the one with the hearts, with the brain button, Demolition, with those actually and Strike Force. Those are pretty much, I think, your only ones that had the dual plated before they switched to the all gold with Demolition in 1990, I believe, before to the hearts again at Summerslam 90. So for me in particular, when I got mine, I was like, okay, I need the dual plated. That's just me. But no, like I said, these side plates here were changed in the 80s.
Yeah.
From the, kind of block square ones into these rectangular ones.
Yes.
And this one, honestly, this is definitely absolutely
It's just beautiful. I'm sorry. It has everything, guys. Now listen, we have not shown every title we've had on camera. Okay, we've talked about them. We hope you've gone along and like a read along, right? You go pick up the books, you go look at the Google, you look at the pictures. We're showing you this one now. All right, and I'm going off of straight this morning. First of all, happy birthday to my daughter today. She turns 22. Okay, but I'm looking at. I thought about beautiful. I thought about my daughter. That belt is beautiful, like my daughter. And Corey, the 3 plates. Okay, on each side. That's a rarity. Okay, that's a rarity, and especially if you're collecting belts. You want to be a belt collector. This show is made for belt collectors, especially. I know we talk about wrestling, but we love the collecting of the belts. That's a classic title, Corey. That is one of the most. That might be one of the best belts I've ever seen, and I'm talking about from the older collection because I think a lot of new designs. It's like fine wine. It's like Bruno Mars or Michael Jackson. You're supposed to evolve, right? So, like, thinking of a classic as the classic belts, as the original belts from back in these days when these belts were getting made. I think this might be my favorite title of all time, Corey. I think I've always felt that way. Next to my TV title because of the red. Next to my TV title, of course. But my favorite title outside the TV title, it really might be this tag team title, Corey. How much does it weigh?
Well, this one, because this one's probably at least
custom.
About 7 or 8 pounds,
Okay, and where we get this belt from?
This one, who did I get this one made from? I think I got this one from JB Toys a while ago.
Okay.
But there are a couple of places that you can get them. It's kind of hard.
With the block F, though?
Yeah, that's the hard part. That's going to be the hard part.
So we're talking 2 different kind of belts you can purchase, perhaps? Maybe one without the block and then maybe a custom because you have a custom. So let's explain how they can do both.
The one without the block, more than likely, you're probably going to get from Fandu.
Okay.
Fandu belts makes the ones without the block logo on them.
Fandu got very good work. Very good work.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, no, they do.
So shout out to them.
Like I said, it's all about what you're willing to, what's in your price range, what you're willing to pay. And the reason why I say that is because it seems like, well, it seems like it pretty much, I know, the all golds are cheaper than getting the dual plated. Dual plated, you spend a little bit of money because of the intricacy you have to do with the double plating. So, that's why you see a lot of double, and the way it looks. I like all gold, but I do. But it's something about certain belts that have the dual plating on it. You're just like, ooh.
It stands out for me. Okay, speaking for me as a belt fan, and it screams classic.
Yeah,
it just screams that era. You've mentioned when you were a kid. When you recognize this belt, right? So again, to me, those are the belts you collect. At least the ones that mean to me. They all mean to you. There's some belts as belt collectors you get because it's a belt, and it was affordable. It was a steal. And then there's belts you love and you want. Shout out again to Dice Man, that classic Intercontinental belt. He got to get it the right way. I feel him. I understand him.
Yeah, I understand.
So, shout out to Chris Dinks. There's certain belts you want to get that they tell us about, and you want that special one. That's a special one. Now, I know that I don't want to dig too much, okay? But give me a little price range between one you would get from a JB Toys, one you would get from WWF or WWE Shop, if you will. I can tell you now, the one that I got, that's fine. That one goes for about $600. I think that's worth it. I think that's worth it. I personally think that's worth it. And again, we talked about when King Mo_Eaton was on here, Belt King Extraordinaire like ourselves. Knowing your budget. Yeah. Right. So if you have a budget for it and it's the budget you want, okay, guys, I don't have a budget. I just get what I like. And I think you pay for what's worth if something's worth it to you. That's my belief. That's where you hit it on the head is that wasn't something I just went, I'm just going to get it. No, I planned and made sure because I knew what you had to pay for to get that. That's not just something you just make a decision. It's like, I'm just going to drop $500+ Right.
You're not going to do that. You're going to plan it and be like, okay, you're going to put a little bit aside at a time, a little bit aside. And I was like, okay, boom, I've got it to where I can spend that because I put it aside enough there. I was like, okay, boom. Now I've got it to where I can go ahead and make an order. Boom, I got it. Teach. See, there are people. We're teaching you here how to collect the belts. That's what you got to do. Not go broke for the belts. You don't want you going broke. We want to see you out there
at these events when we're out there. We want to see you. Okay, show off your belts. Come take some pictures with us. Okay, I like that because 600 for me. I want that. I'm not sure if that's where I would personally go. Or I can, I'm not going with and just say, I don't even want to say, I was going to say my wife would allow me. My wife will let me do what I want to do, but then I have conscience issues. And
Right. No, understandable.
So if you go to, that's with the classic look, the dual plated, the side plates, the weight. So that one's a different style of belt. Where can you find, let's say, the newer logo? When we talked about last week, the one that if you just want the belt and the logo doesn't matter to you, WB Shop has that title?
No, So here's the thing. So and it's so weird. WWE, it's when they sold those at that time, which was about, and it's so funny to say this, 15 years ago when they were selling anything with the classic logo on it, that stuff was in limited supply and it was limited time that you could get it.
Okay.
Then you pretty much now you kind of either gotta hope that one pops up on eBay, in which time to time they do, but it's very rare. Actually, to be honest, the tag belt is the rare of the three classics that you pop up.
What three classes are we referring to, Corey?
The Classic Intercontinental, the Classic Winged Eagle World Championship, and the Classic Tag Team Championship. Okay. Of those three that the WWE were producing replicas for, that tag one's the rarest one that I've seen.
Now, I know
that one you don't see pop up too often.
Is that your first tag team of this one, or is this a double for you?
No, this one was my first because you can't find the other one. Okay. And every time the only one I almost had, in which it was so funny, I got outbid like at the last second on eBay. I almost had the Attitude Era one, which is another just the design of that belt's design, whether it's the Attitude Era one, or it's the classic. Both of them are just rare. Like, you just can't find them.
Does that one have the curve in it? I didn't get a chance to pay attention to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I saw it. I was just standing how beautiful it was, my eyes. But I like that. Okay, I like that. And I like that because that's the one that sits on your shoulder so perfectly. It's right there. It's made made for your waist, your shoulder. Yeah, that looks really good. So, that looks really good there.
It just sits there. So
we're
really
looking at
stand up. It's just So
shout out to the Jordan shirt. Sorry.
That's what I wear. So
I know what your Title Tuesday belt was. Shout out to King Coley.
Well, no, not that one today.
Not that one. Okay.
but no, it's just pretty much if you're going, like I said, for the most part, if you're going custom routes, that's what you're gonna pay.
Okay, that's good to know. That's good to know.
I mean, because if you're going to somebody that does decent work, it takes a while to get it, and they've got to make it essentially, unless they have it on hand already from one that was already made, they got to make it from scratch. Wow. So you gotta allow time for that, and you gotta pay a little bit for. Like I said, it's all about budgeting and just making sure that you understand that you may have to pay a little bit sometimes. You always want to get stuff at a deal, you do, but sometimes your deal is just the quality that you're getting. So,
well, I say it every week because I mean it every week. I've heard you speak about eBay before. It's actually starting to resonate with me now, if you will, that maybe I got to get out of my comfort zone. This is for those that collective out there that has that they call you the Tootsie guy. You're not sure what you want to do. You just sit there, you come look at it, but you don't actually go purchase it. Get out of your comfort sometimes, right? And I tell this to people in real life: enjoy yourself, right? If it's something that you really, really want, and you want to, you want something, I believe one should have it. You only have what they say, YOLO. You only live once, right? I ain't saying go broke for it. I ain't none of that stuff, But if you deserve
you don't have to. You're right. No, you nailed it right there. You don't have to go broke.
No.
Or for every it's just safe. I'm not going on anybody's budget, but
absolutely.
Hypothetically, a belt is $600. Just and that's on the longer spectrum. Honestly, most of them are usually cheap. Most of them are usually some of them are usually cheaper than that. So, but let's just say hypothetically for this situation it's $600. If you want to put it may, like I said, you just got to have patience. Do $50 or $100 every pay that you don't have to, eat out. Something that you are just spending that money for, just to spend it. If you budget it and,
no date night this week, baby.
Right. Even if you do 50 a pay period and get paid twice a month.
Yeah.
If you go 6 months.
Yeah, you got your belt.
You got your
you're
belt.
happy.
And that's the thing. If it's something you want,
mm-hmm.
and you can put any amount of, like I said, for me, I did $100 every pay period and said, okay, I'm gonna put it aside. Boom. 3 months later, I had enough.
Yeah.
It wasn't a thing of I need it right now. Like, you don't need it right now.
No.
But
it's
if
not
you
food.
Get it, yeah. If you get it, exactly, it's not food. If you get it, you're gonna get it. Like I said, it takes on average probably maybe about 6 weeks or so if you get made. Yeah. You've already waited 3 months or so to save it. What's another 6 weeks at that point?
And the love you're gonna get from the Belt King community is gonna be amazing to make you feel special. This is better than on Facebook when it's your birthday. Okay, if you get a brand new belt, we come out of the closet and go, yes. But once you get the one, you got to get 2, 3, 4, and not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but at least 5 belts to be a belt king. All right. But Corey let you slide with 1. But listen, Corey.
Yeah.
With that being said, let's get into
the
topics of this show that takes us
into
a different stratosphere.
I know that threw things off a little bit because I know you didn't know that I had the belt with me.
Not at all. Listen, I love it most about it, okay? And this belt, my wife's sitting here before the show started today, right? And we were talking about this belt. And I said, babe, not only does this belt resonate with your age group. My wife is 7 years older than me. She's 35, right? Okay. No, I'll be 45. She's 37. So, but you have different ages that can go with this belt. Okay.
Yeah.
Two
absolutely.
different generations had this same title. Not like how the classic Intercontinental came back. This stayed between the new generation, between the classic, whatever it was called, early WWE days, into the Attitude Era, and damn near pushed into the ruthless aggression area.
Yeah,
almost. It was right there teetering with it.
You pretty much had this belt for 17 years, pretty much. And even then, if you look at, in which we'll talk about this on another show too, if you look at the SmackDown Tag Team Championships from the ruthless aggression era, look very, very,
very similar. It had that blue on it, and that's one of those. I love that belt too.
Yeah, so the legacy of that belt kind of always lived on through, different facets. But I mean, that like you said, that belt, most people, they can see that belt and know they've seen it at one point.
They've seen it. And if you're watching the show right now, you see some of the pictures I got up, okay? And it shows you how beautiful this belt is, Corey. And like I said, the people that had it. So we're going to go through, you could say, to make it modern. Your Dudley boys had it. Your Edge and Christians had it. Demolition had this belt. The Hart Foundation had this belt. The Rock and Sock Connection had this belt, Corey. This belt has gone through, as we said, the first ones to have it was the Dream Team. Those who don't know who that was, that's my generation. Beauty the Barber Beefcake and Greg the Hammer Valentine.
He wasn't even the barber yet.
No,
he wasn't even the barber yet.
He's just Brutus Beefcake. You're right. He was not the barber. Just Brutus Beefcake. Thank you. In Philadelphia, Active Spectrum. Okay, those who would live in the area know Spectrum it was everything. Big time venue. Had their own cable channel, so you got to watch. I used to love that, Corey, that they would be there, say Saturday night, right? By next Saturday, it's on Prism, the cable channel, which was Spectrum's, the Spectrum's cable channel. I love that about growing up in that area. Then from that, arguably the greatest tag team of all time, and my favorite, the British Bulldogs, had this belt. People, you can love who you love. The British Bulldogs to me is one of. They're on my Mount Rushmore for this belt. Let's just put that here and there. Okay. Let's just put this here and there.
Fair enough.
The British Bulldogs are on this list. Okay. Then the Hart Foundation. Oh, I'm sorry. There goes somebody else. Who made this list? Okay, that's two.
Yeah.
Who
yeah,
Mike
that
Knoxxx
is
got
two.
left? Okay. People like Strike Force. Okay, Rick Montel, not Rick the model. See, you don't give me twice on that one. Okay, Tito Santana. Okay,
Yeah.
just the list.
Yeah.
It's just intriguing. That's just the ones that had it in a row, Corey. What is some of your favorite guys that hold this stuff? Because I think this is a conversation, not a belt necessarily that can travel to shows, but the conversation of the people who had this title. The Mount Rushmore, you can say yes and no for. If you take the British Bulldogs off this list, I'm okay with that because it's my favorite Mount Rushmore list. Maybe not the greatest. All right, I got to not corrected myself, Corey, right? My favorite would be the British Bulldogs. They may not be there. Okay? They may not be there. But the Rockers, Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, that's funny you mentioned that one. That one where you can argue that did it really happen or did it not happen? That's always going to be it's because some places it's weird.
I didn't put them in the picture photos because it's unrecognized.
But that's what's funny. Sometimes some places recognize it and some don't. It's so weird. It's just I think WWE. I gotta look and see how WWE categorizes that because I think at one point they were like an asterisk recognizing it, but they recognized that it happened.
As it reads right now, Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty defeated the Hart Foundation for the titles despite winning the match. The win and the reigns are not recognized by WWE, and the ring ropes broke. The match was not aired on TV. I remember that though. Like,
I remember
in a world of not having social media back then, this kind of spread out through the wrestling world. You know what I mean? You know, and it was shocking how this did that without social media today to do that, Corey, if you remember that moment.
Yeah. No. And it's fun because that's one of the first times that, like you mentioned, in a prehistoric social media era that had that word spread around because it did get around because it was, and I think the reason why it got around is because it was an actual TV tape because it was supposed to be on Saturday Night's Main Event.
Right. It was.
Yeah. And it never materialized. And even in that era where pretty much all you had to do was if you weren't in the arena, you didn't see it.
Okay.
And the word kind of got out. And so that's why it's always kind of so confusing with WWE because that wasn't something they could just strike from the record books. And it's WWE they acknowledge that the match that's what I want to say.
Okay.
They acknowledge the match happened.
Right.
They acknowledge that the title change took place, but it's not in the records.
Right. It's definitely a gray area. And for us Shawn Michaels fans, it's like, come on. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. He gets the tag team, but just not this one. I have a new segment I want to introduce to you, Corey.
Sure.
Okay. It's called Champions, right? Duh. Right. That's what we call it, right? It's called Champions. I'm going to name these champions, and then you tell me the first word that comes to mind when I name these champions. Okay.
Sure.
Money Inc. That's Ted DiBiase and Erwin R. Shyster. 4-time champions, by the way.
Yeah, great heel team. And I'm not even kidding you. That's funny you named them because they may or may not be on my Mount Rushmore. Seriously.
I did say one word, but I'll take the one sentence. Okay. Then we got the natural disasters. That'll be earthquake and typhoon.
Transition.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
The Quebecers. Pierre and Jacques.
Good. They actually good. No, they were.
Diesel and Shawn Michaels.
Storyline.
I like that. The Smoking Guns. Billy and Bart. Gun, that is.
Serviceable. Serviceable. They were.
I like that. Okay, let's go a little step further and go DX, meaning Road Dogg and Billy Gunn.
Mount Rushmore.
Woo! I like it. I was going to say amazing. That's first breaking into my mind. Okay. Yeah. Owen, Hart, and Yokozuna.
Also serviceable. Service.
Just guys that can just go. They go out there, do the job. They can do whatever you needed them to do.
It's those middle years. Middle years of the 90s, that is. And I know you've looked at the listing of the champions.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That kind of era from, I'd say, 93 through about 96.
Yeah.
You had some very interesting champions in that time period. So and that's why, I'll get to my Mount Rushmore.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. There's some instances that come around that time period. So, yeah.
How about the Headbangers, Mosh and Thrasher, friends of the program, by the way?
Yeah, I love them, but yeah, that was how do I want to say? I don't want to say serviceable again. I want to say. I'll say thank you, as in they were a good team. So here's kind of a thank you run. Not that they,
Barry Horowitz.
But here's a thank you run, which some of those teams, they got thank you runs for just being good workers. You know, so, nothing wrong with that.
Nothing at all. No, I definitely don't think so, because it also, like you said, thank you. You know what I mean? Like they did. You know. You're good workers.
You did what you were supposed to do.
We got you. We tried to get you over from the UK coming over here, and it just didn't quite work. But hey, we'll let that slide. You know what I mean? It wasn't your fault. And that's what I loved about back then, so to speak, in wrestling. They didn't let the crowd dictate everything. You know, I think they kind of catered to the fans so much, and that's where they missed. You can't please everybody. You know what I mean? Yep. You had this era that went through the WWF, WWE, where you had a bunch of makeshift tag teams, Corey. Kane, Mankind, Stone Cold, and Undertaker, Kane and Mankind, Boss Man and Shamrock, Owen, Hart, and Jeff Jarrett, Kane and X-Pac. What do you think about the tag teams like that? I mean, they did that like with Diesel and Shawn Michaels and the one-man power trips or two-man power trip with Stone Cold, Rock and Sock Connection. Teams like that, what do you think about teams like that? Is that also a thank you? What do you go with that?
Although all those are more so storyline.
Okay.
And they were using those combinations to further a storyline with one or both that were in it.
Love the education.
Which, to me, more so gives the further pat on the back to the legitimate teams.
Absolutely.
Always, to me, no matter how corny or, somebody like a Smoking Guns will always hold weight over a lot of those two single-man teams. Because they were a legitimate team. Like,
would you consider Owen and Yokozuna a real tag team?
You know what?
Because I think I would. The other ones I'm like core short, like Rock and, or in Rock and Sock Connection, the two-man power. I'm not counting those guys, but I think I could count Owen and Yokozuna.
Owen and Yoko and Owen and Bulldog were legitimate.
Just real tag teams, yeah.
Those I would give real tag teams. They were, because the consistency of them there was no storyline with them, with one or the other or against each other. They were together. Like as a team.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even your Kane and X-Pac, that was really just an extension of Taker, or there were always other
variables
of the teams. Yeah, like Owen and Bulldog were Owen and Bulldog. Owen and Yoko were Owen and Yoko. Like they were a team.
Yeah. I like that. Would you consider, and I'm moving forward, I know it's a different title, but we're talking wrestling also. Jericho would be like that. How would you, because they had storyline and that, I think, as you mentioned with how you explained the two. I think they were storyline, but damn, they were really good as a tag team.
No,
I know it's a different belt, and I'm jumping away.
No. This we talk wrestling. It's still wrestling. It's them I would consider a real team, and the reason why is because of the longevity of the run. It wasn't anything that just they had legit defenses, legit storylines with multiple teams. That I'd say, hey, that's a real team. Not Jericho, Miz and Big Show. That one that kind of teeters the fence.
Yeah.
Because the ultimate storyline with that, where they were trying to elevate Miz.
And they were trying to copy off the Miz being little Jericho. You know what I mean?
So
as well. I've always thought Miz is a Jericho disciple.
Yeah,
that's just me. And again, and not getting into a subject about just we talk about that another time. But I want to get back to these champions, and I feel a lot of softballs Let's get into some hard questions here.
Sure.
Hard one-word answers. The
Mhm.
Legion of Doom, not the World Warriors. Same tag team, though, by the way. The Legion of Doom.
Legacy.
Legacy.
They had to have all. They pretty much that was a team that no matter what organization or territory, or whatever you put them in, they had to be your tag team champions at least once to legitimize your belts, not to legitimize them, but for your tag team division to be legitimized. So yeah, Legacy. They had to have your belts. They stupid not to put your belts on.
Yeah, about that. You had to, right?
Yeah.
The Acolytes, Farouk and Bradshaw.
Those two. Powerful. Because that was your roughhouse team of that era. I mean, you still had your Dudleys and all that around at that time, but no, these were your punch you in the face, like in the face team. That was your roughhouse team.
Can I say this in fairness? All right.
Sure.
Crossing, because speaking of roughhouse, you brought that up to my mind and made me think about how Nia Jax gets a lot of flack for her performing in the ring, right?
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, I remember guys all the time was this way. The Legion of Doom was just kind of guys get hurt in the ring. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
it just happens.
You know what that boils down to though, Mike. And we're not gonna sound the wrong way because
right.
Clearly women are doing the same thing as men, but it comes down to gender. I think because Nia is so dominantly bigger than the other girls, everything's gonna always be magnified of what she does.
Not just The Rock's cousin, because that's all you hear.
Yeah,
she's not. And I'm
yeah,
like,
no,
not that stupid to keep somebody around because of the name necessarily.
She's still 6 feet, 300 pounds.
Exactly. She is their version of the Big Show and the female division. I mean, she's what Kong or Awesome Kong isn't to them or couldn't be for them.
Yeah,
wasn't for them because of the with child.
Yeah, she's still 6 feet, 300 pounds.
Yeah.
Everything's gonna always look magnified. If somebody gets hurt in the ring with her, it's always gonna look magnified because she's just that much bigger than the other women.
That's just my personal gripe to get off on Nia Jax's back. That's all. The Hardee Boys.
Spark.
Ooh.
They were
like Max like Charco?
Yeah, they were the ignition during the era. Like you had pretty much you had your Dudleys, which were your ground and pound, your foundation. You had Edge and Christian, which was your finesse, like your polish. Like they were the team, but your Hardees were your spark. Go.
Yeah.
So definitely.
Well, you already know where I'm going next. Edge and Christian.
Oh, like I just said, the finesse. They were the polish. They were your team and that's why I always loved during that era, Mike, that whenever you had Hardees versus Dudleys versus Edge and Christian, Hardees were always the sentimental favorite.
Yeah.
Dudleys were always the guys that you were like, oh, they're going to win because they were the Dudleys. Edge and Christian were always the ones winning those matches. They were always, because they were realistically your best team. And I always liked how they did that because they always made that element of Edge and Christian, they're not going to win. They're not. They're just Edge and Christian. Boom. Edge and Christian, 7-time tag team champion.
Yeah.
Like,
they're the ones you never, like you just said, like, they're not going to win.
Yeah.
Then you started saying, oh, they're going to win because you started realizing, yo, these guys are pulling these things out against the Hardee boys you thought for sure, the Dudley boys that, the ones doing all the muscle, in this as well. Just two more, and I got it to my Mount Rushmore, baby, because I'm looking at these names. I'm sorry. I'm looking. I looked over the 17 years of this title, Corey.
Yeah.
And as beautiful as I kept saying, it has just as much as a beautiful list. I think I like, and I'm in the moment, guys out there watching and listening, in the moment of looking at this belt, looking at the people who's had it. I got to say that during this time, you've had the greatest there ever was to hold this title to me in the tag team world. Because you had your Brain Busters, you had your Steiner Brothers, you had your Legion of Doom, you had your Hart Foundations. You named the tag team, they've had this belt. They've had this belt. And that, the body dynasty, Skip and Zip. They were over, Corey.
This one isn't a word, but it's more so a phrase. Just I would say product of the moment. I mean, they were pretty much you had but like 4 tag teams at that time. So it's almost like they had to get it at some point, in which you may or may not be getting ready to name them. Same thing with the Goblins. You kind of had to pretty much, by circumstance, you had to get the belts on them because you only had like 4 teams. So, yeah. So I mean, they weren't bad. They weren't good, but they weren't. None of them were really bad.
Give it to me, Corey. Give me what I want. Give it to me. Give me what I want, Corey. The Mount Rushmore. Give it to me. Give me what I want.
Okay. Mount Rushmore of this one, in which this will probably be my number 1, to be honest. Demolition.
Ooh.
Yeah, Demolition's definitely, absolutely is on there for this one. Demolition, Hart Foundation. I think yeah. And you know what? No, because I'm going to give credit where credit is due. Smoking Guns, Money Incorporated.
Hold on, you said the X was on this list earlier.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm gonna. Okay, you know what? Actually,
we say it every week, and we're gonna say it again. This is the hardest thing, and this is the fourth one to me. I don't think this is easy 1, 2, 3, or 4. I don't.
You know what? And it's as weird as it's gonna. Not weird. I'll take. You know what? I'm gonna between the two. Yeah, I'll take all Smoking Guns. I am gonna put New Age Outlaws on there. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah. I'm going to go, that's my 4. Demolition, Hart Foundation, New Age Outlaws. Do I want to keep Money Inc. on there? Do I want to go Edge and Christian? It's something about Edge and Christian where you're like, it's like you want to include them on there, but it's like, gosh, these other champions before them, you're like, that's where you start. Because I think for me, because I want to give credit to those teams that I don't think are going to get
credit. Yeah.
Because in a time where, like I said, Smoking Guns, Money Inc., they were tag champions at a time where it wasn't but so many teams, and they had decent runs. Owen and Bulldog had a decent run. Do I want to take it? You know what? For the sake of you know who else were good? Billy and Chuck.
Billy and Chuck had these belts?
Yes, they did.
What?
Yes.
Billy and Chuck was great. And the greatest thing was the payoff. Well, hold on, what? We're not gay. We're just like to hang out. It shocked the world. It shocked in the news. The TV guys and stuff was through the roof for that. They knew how to push envelope back then, man.
Yeah, they had these belts.
Nobody named Right to Censor.
No, I wouldn't.
I know. I just wanted to just say there. I'm looking at the paper. I'm looking for the. You said Chuck to Billy and Chuck.
Yeah, Billy and Chuck had a good run. They had
the Brothers of Destruction had a great run.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot. That 4th team is the
APA, which was really the acolytes, Still,
Demolition, Hart Foundation, New Age Outlaws.
No, Billy and Chuck had won the SmackDown.
I feel
titles.
Billy
and Chuck won the tag team, but it wasn't this belt.
Yeah, it was. They were definitely these champions.
They had these?
Yes,
they must be the last ones then.
Yes, they did. They had it.
So the first one, you're right. I apologize because the first ones that had the new ones was friend of the program, Rikishi and Rico.
Yeah, well, actually, no.
It says renamed the WWE Tag Team Championship in May. Renamed the WWE Tag Team Championship.
Yeah, but they were still using those belts. That the SmackDown Tag Team Championships.
Yeah.
And I want to say
you're right because Hogan and Edge had these belts too.
Yep, Hogan and Edge also had these belts.
I'm sorry, I didn't even say his name.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
Should have said Bacon and Edge. Is what I call them.
So that 4th team is so hard.
I gave you enough time. I've been giving you space and opportunity here.
Here's the thing. So it can always be changed and argued with anybody.
Mhm.
But for the sake of kind of covering all of the eras, I guess you could say, which with the exception of the later part, I'm going to go Demolition, Hart Foundation, New Age Outlaws. Ooh, I want to put Money Incorporated in there so bad because I want to cover the mid-'90s because it's like you want to cover them because it's like you don't want that lost out. But honestly, no. It's going to be Edge and
Christian. I knew it.
Edge and Christian.
I knew it. So you got Edge and
Christian,
DX, Hart Foundation, and Demolition.
Yep.
I'm going to also go the Hart Foundation. I think that's without question. For this
Bulldogs,
title.
like
I'm
you
going to
said.
go Bulldogs. I can't. It's just I thought about it even through the list. I got to go there. I will go with Edge and Christian. But no, I'm not going to go with Edge and Christian. I'm going to tell you why I'm not going to go with Edge and Christian.
Okay.
They may have had more titles. But the people to me who deserve these belts are the Dudley boys. The Dudley boys, through all those matches with Edge and Christian and the Hardee boys, to me, they were the glue to me that stuck
sure.
three together.
Absolutely.
And it's like how I look at Triple H and Rock to me was a better rivalry than Rock and Stone Cold for me. It just, the wrestling was different. It felt more personal than storyline. And the Dudley boys made everything seem personal to me. So I'm going to go Dudley Boys. I'm going to go Hart Foundation. I'm going to go British Bulldog. And then for me, this is where it does get hard with the fourth one, okay? Because I want to go Hardee Boys. I want to can still throw in Edge and Christian in there. I think Money Inc. deserves to be there. But I think when I look at these belts, I'm stalling. Clearly, I came to you. I'm definitely stalling. To me, it's without question, it's the New Age Outlaws. It's the New Age Outlaws. It's what they did for those titles at that time. I say every week about guys who made it feel like it was important to have belts. You know what I mean? They made me think. To me, they took it very personal. They were the champions.
Yeah, Road Dogg made you believe like that.
Yeah,
made you believe he was the world champion.
Yeah,
and that's not a bad thing. He made you believe when he there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Nobody else was doing that, especially for the tag team titles.
No.
He made it an attraction to see the tag team championship
of the world.
Yeah,
of the world. And to me, I always look at the moment I like LeBron James. Right? I'm a diabolical hater. I would say I'm your fan's favorite fan and your hater's favorite hater. I have no reason to hate LeBron James, but he won that second championship in Miami, and he took this little pose where he kind of like shrugged. And it had the MVP in one hand. To me, it's iconic images. Yeah. That's when I say, okay, LeBron, you got that.
Yeah.
When I look at wrestlers, when I look at wrestlers that hold a title and hug it, those images stick out to me.
Yeah.
Macho Man, Bret Hart, Road Dogg. Road Dogg would get this title every time they won those belts. If you notice, they would defend those titles by hook or by crook, and it was a lot of crooks. They won them. He's grabbing it. He's grabbing that belt and he's holding it. And because, like you said, it felt like it meant to ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, D Generation X proudly brings to you, it's WWF Tag Team Champions of the World.
Yeah.
The Road Dogg, Jesse James, the badass, Billy Gunn, the New Age Outlaw. I just wanted to do it.
Yeah, that's fine. No. You do it. Yeah. You're supposed to.
Some of your favorite matches from your Mount Rushmore guys.
Definitely one of them would be, and before I get into that, I'm going to touch on, here's why I put Demolition on there.
Okay.
Up until, obviously records are made to be broken.
Absolutely. Oh, they had them forever.
Demolition was the first three-time tag team champions. Demolition had it for that one run they had from WrestleMania 4 up until they lost them to the Brainbusters in like July of '89, I think. It's maybe June or July of '89, something like that. Like they had them for what is that? 15, 14, 12, 13 months, something like that? But they had them for well over a year when you weren't seeing that like that back then. To where Demolition pretty much, that first run, they got them, first run they got them from Strike Force, second from the Brainbusters, and then they beat Colossal Connection. That's one of my favorite ones when they beat Colossal Connection at WrestleMania 6.
Andre the Giant and Haku.
Yep.
Okay.
Another one would be once again Demolition and the Hearts from Summerslam.
That was WrestleMania 6. I always skip over that match, Corey. I gotta go back and watch that match. No, seriously, because when I do my WrestleMania matches, I go watch my favorites. But I want to check that one out. I remember that.
Yeah, because that one, because that was Andre's face turn.
Okay.
And that was that's when that famous line, that famous sound clip they played from Brain after that match was over. He says, "You listen to me, you go straight to the top. You don't listen to me, you're never heard from again." He's talking about Andre because Andre. Yeah. So that match, to see Demolition get them back, because I liked it. Demolition was my favorite tag team as a kid.
Okay.
So, them
Couldn't stand them.
Them and the Rockers were my two teams. Demolition and the Rockers. Those were my guys.
Couldn't stand them. I was a British Bulldog guy. I keep telling you, my love is if you went against my guys, I didn't like you.
Fair, and that's what it was.
And Demolition always went against my guys. I thought they were cool. I mean, let's be honest here. They got one of the greatest entrance songs of all time. Yeah. Okay, of all time is their entrance.
I would say honestly,
even when they had it in Crush, it was like, okay, I understand.
Yeah.
Like, even as a kid, without even having your wrestling knowledge, wrestling hashtag the storyline made sense when he got bought in. You didn't know the real life stuff that was actually going on with Dax at that time. So, and shout out to Smash, who played all the different things he's played in his life, from the Repo Man to Cruiser to Crusher, playing a Russian Soviet.
Blacktop Bully.
Yeah, man, that guy did everything, but he hit it out the park with that. Wasn't he? That's okay. I could be wrong. Who was Doink?
You had Matt Bourne. You had
it wasn't Smash.
Brawler. I don't think Smash ever.
Okay,
played.
I always thought it was Smash. I've always thought it was Smash.
I don't think he ever did. No. But no. It's probably not the great, but it's one of the greatest. Like I said, Hearts and Demolition, 2 out of 3 from SummerSlam '90. That is right up. That could be argued as the greatest tag match for these belts.
Okay, which one?
Hart Foundation versus Demolition from SummerSlam '90.
Yeah, that was a pretty damn good match.
Yeah, the 2 out of 3 falls.
Yeah, it definitely has to be up there. I mean, I'm gonna put it up there as one of the best matches. Again, I loved Bret Hart, even then not liking Hills necessarily at that time, but loving. You can always just see Bret Hart beat Bret Hart. And at this time, they were the face tag team.
Yeah, they were face.
In a sense, and it was really weird seeing it, because they were still, may he rest in peace, Jimmy Anvil would always, he always did his little things that was him, that was heel tactics to do, that you had to say, wow, okay, like, that was a really good one. I would have probably named that one. My mind ain't the same as you guys, you young people today, but that's a good one.
No, I mean, also the next year, in which, gosh, SummerSlam was just so good. SummerSlam had a 4-year stretch, because '92 was okay, but the original, the first.
That '90s SummerSlam was in Philly, too.
Yep. Look at this way. This is how WWE took a hold of that Northeast audience. The first SummerSlam was in the Garden in New York. The second one was in the Meadowlands in Jersey. The third one was in Philly. The fourth one was back in New York. And those are probably the four of the best SummerSlam that they've ever had. Yeah. 88, 89, 90, and 91 are like classic. And even in 91, when they had Legion of Doom against the Nasties.
I was just going to say, are we forgetting the Nasty Boys here somewhere? I've never been a fan of the Nasty. They've just never did it for me. I've never liked them. I have nothing against them. This is not me talking about people professional things. Just as a fan of wrestling, the Nasty Boys just never did it for me.
I think, honestly, and like I said, when we say these things, it's like no disrespect to the team.
Absolutely not.
I just think Nasties were, like I said earlier, one of those teams where they were an established team, so it would have been dumb not to put the tag team titles on an established team.
See, I would even go a step further and say not even more established, as they're ones that you saw that was a tag team. They dressed alike, they looked alike, they were together. You can see they were a tandem. There's something for me as a tag team wrestling aficionado that loves teams that look like teams.
Well, I was saying established more so that they came from
where they came, right. Other federations and all those things. Yeah, absolutely. They had been around for a while.
Yeah, and they had been that gimmick. They were all the Nasty Boys.
Yes.
It seemed like okay, you brought them over the WWE. It seems like you brought them over and didn't change.
They moved them up the notch, though. I will say that.
Yeah.
Like, them coming over, being, you know, his friends and all, came up and they got over, and that, you know, they made him get over. And you believe there was something that you could, putting your face in the armpit, you know, that kind of stuff was, you know,
exactly.
was classic. I'm gonna go, Corey. I had it right here. Steiner Brothers versus Money Inc. on Raw.
Oh yeah, that is
Raw.
a good one. That is a good one.
I loved that match. It was like things that used to happen on national television that we don't get as much no more. Like, I wouldn't have been mad, you know, going back, if you're watching the show today, the day after Monday Night Raw, I wouldn't have been mad at some of those champions would have lost last night. You know what I'm saying? I would have been okay with that. You know what I mean?
I thought that was gonna happen. Like
with them advertising it like being Champions Night, yeah. I thought somebody was gonna lose last night, and no one lost their belts. You know what I mean? So, but
yeah, at all.
Nobody at all. But that's one of my favorite matches. And then, of course, we're talking about this title. Everybody, Corey, talks about. You always say this. I get my WrestleMania confused with this one. WrestleMania 2000 is what the video game was called. So that ladder match.
Yeah,
I think it was the third of their ladder matches.
No. Here's what's funny.
No, it wasn't their first one. That wasn't their second one.
Of the triple threat.
Yeah.
Three teams. No, that was their first.
That the one at WrestleMania.
The triangle ladder match was their first.
That was their first? Okay. The Wally Cody can for the first time?
Yeah, because here's the thing. Here's where it gets confusing, which is why I know what you're thinking of. Edge and Christian versus the Hardys is what really kind of started that catapult.
For Terry's bag or whatever.
Yeah,
right.
the Terry
Not
Invitation.
That one, right. This was the titles. Edge and Christian one with what they put the ladder, the table across it. Hardy's infamous fall. That to me is my favorite tag team match of all time. Is that match? That match, I can watch it every day. I can watch it every day.
It's so, like it's very rare that you could really flip-flop matches, but that one, the triangle ladder match, TLC 1 and TLC 2 can all be interchanged.
Was two the one they had, like Lita came out and helped, Rhino came out and helped? That one was pretty good, because you got to understand something about wrestling fans. It's not we're very hard to please, right?
Well, it was the stage. I think it was the stage, Mike. That was the one that was on WrestleMania. That's the difference. TLC.
People always tell me that. You know,
TLC 1 was great. It elevates it. TLC 1, as good as it was, nobody remembers that it was at SummerSlam 2000. Yeah. No, I mean, people do, but I'm just saying, for the most part,
I know what you mean.
Nobody's really thinking of that at SummerSlam. That's why that's why I always feel bad.
It gets
for
forgotten.
TLC 1. That's why I feel bad for TLC 1, because TLC 2 was at it's arguably, for some people, to me, it was at the greatest WrestleMania of all time, at WrestleMania 17. Okay. So it was on
I would say arguably yes on paper, but for me it's going to be WrestleMania 30. I can't count. Stop laughing at me. WrestleMania 28. I'm saying, like, I know Roman numerals, gosh darn it, because I was there for the first time. So for me, that's my favorite one of all time. But on TV and things that I've seen, 17. Put it there. But that WrestleMania 2000 match, though, it just it started off the pay-per-view. No, it didn't.
It didn't start.
It didn't start.
But as far as
the hardcore title started that one.
Yeah, as far as the
Pippin Ain't Easy started that one.
Yeah,
Pippin Ain't Easy.
The storyline and the involvement of those three teams with each other. Yeah, match is always kind of the snowball match, because that's the one where you were like, and that's the one that, if anything, that's the one where nobody picked Edge and Christian to win that.
No, listen, as you're watching it, you're not picking Edge and Christian to win that match. As the table gets put across the two ladders, you're like, nah, that's getting broke. Something's going to happen here. I thought that was the Dudley Boys' moment to win there. You know, looking back now, being the intelligent wrestling fan that I am, Edge and Christian was going to win that match. It's just things I know about the company where they like certain people in certain spots for certain things. And Edge was their next guy to be single. And so for Edge's, history, that goes there. Reiterate this again. Mount Rushmore. Yeah. We got Demolition for you. Right. Repeat it again.
Demolition, Hart Foundation, New Age Outlaws, and Edge and Christian.
Dudley's New Age Outlaws, Hart Foundation, and the British Bulldogs. Intercede it how you want to, Corey. I think this is the greatest champions list we can go through.
Those are definitely the top 6 because we both named 2 of the same. So definitely the top 6 of the champions of that belt. Absolutely. And it's a crying shame that the Brainbusters never lasted in WWE because they were on this list. They would have been on this list.
Absolutely. It was something about the Brainbusters, and even knowing it's something about when you got guys from WCW to come over. They brought a different style and a different realness to WWE that WWE, I won't say they lacked, but they did lack compared to,
WWE. Here's how WWE lacked, Mike. At one time, within that same year, they had Barry Windham, Tully Blanchard, and Arn Anderson under the same roof.
Yeah.
And they were all gone. Like, you had 3 of the 4 horsemen under the same roof.
Yeah.
And couldn't do. But I think what that lent to, I think that it lends to that urban legend of how they almost had Flair in '88.
Yeah.
I think those guys coming over.
If Vince would have got his hands on the 4 horsemen.
Because remember at that point.
With Bobby the Brain Heenan?
Not even. Remember, Mike, J.J. Dillon was in WWF.
Yeah, I know. I'm just thinking, though, like, right, why not recreate it? My thing is that Vince would take it and make it his own. So I'm thinking he would throw in Bobby the Brain.
They all would have went down to Hogan. That's the problem.
Damn, that is the problem.
They all lost it.
Easily would have lost to Hulk Hogan. Corey, I love this show. This is why I absolutely do adore this show. I get to learn. I get to reminisce on the good times of professional wrestling. And like you said, we named 6 of probably arguably the greatest tag teams of all time. As I say, Jeremy Johnson would say, comment below. Let us know your favorite tag teams of all time, your Mount Rushmores of all time. Find us at Belt Kings. All your podcast networks, you got it. We're there. iHeartRadio, YouTube. We're on everywhere but Anchor. I'm just not on Anchor because we don't produce this show via our cell phone. That's the only reason why I'm not on Anchor. Yeah. Okay, so other than that, you're there. We're there. Spotify. You want to listen to your car on XM Radio? We're there too because there's iHeartRadio on your. So you name it.
And you're right, and that's funny. I just thought something lightning hit my brain. Shawn Michaels has 2 title runs that were pretty much stricken from the record books. The Rock and the one with Diesel the second time.
Yeah, I didn't think about that now.
In September '95. When they pinned the wrong guy. I thought that was so corny. Because those were my 2 guys at that time. As a kid, I hated it. I was like, just let them have all the belts because they did all the belts at that time.
Hey,
Intercontinental champion. And
he's still the greatest wrestler of all time. It's Shawn Michaels.
Period. He is. There's no debate. And you don't.
It's not Flair. It's not Rocky Stone Cold. It's Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, and don't worry about commenting and reply to that.
I'm going to change our minds.
It's not.
Including that stupid bracket that was released today I seen. They have Shawn Michaels as a 5 seed? A 5 seed? Your bracket's already worthless to me. The 5 seed, Shawn Michaels. How dare you? Sting is a 3. John Cena is a 3 seed? Macho Man's a 1, and I love the Macho Man, but he's a 1 seed? A 1 seed? I mean, he probably deserves to be a 1 seed, but that's just on that note, we're going to get out of here, Corey. Where can they find you at, my friend?
My kicks are my fix.
And you know where to find me at Mike Knoxxx. Listen, guys, we're going to get up out of here. Do not wake up tomorrow morning and say to yourself, I love me some me, and don't love God. And don't know that Shawn Michaels is the greatest champion of all time. We out of here, y'all. Fingers.